se va. Sáquenme la botella que funda para gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. Eso baila y bebe. Ese seguro y retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito, mami, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo para ti. Lo que tengo para ti. Sé que te va a encantar como meto yo.
What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Not the happiest of the studios, but here we are facing the music, and of course we may have predicted losses, we may have predicted wins, but it's still not nice to see when your Cowboys cannot get it together, or your team in general cannot get it together for at least 3/4 of football. We can point out in so many different directions of this, in which we will in the next 30 minutes or so, but game time. Welcome back. Not the greatest circumstances, but welcome back as we break this game down.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the shit show. Not us, but our football team at the current stage. That's just how I feel. But I'm doing good, Phil. We're going to get into it as much as we want to get into it. I'm good. I see we got a few people in here. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, it was one of those games. I don't mind losing. I'm definitely not a flexer. You know, I don't sit around and flex about winning by 1 or losing by 30 like some people. And some people want to couch shit. Yeah, I'm doing good, Chuck. I had a busy day. I was off, but I was busy, from getting blood work to doctor's appointments to taking my son to the motor vehicle to getting a haircut. I was just running, but Phil, I wanted the more, they know how I feel. I'm going to cut up the opening of my post game from last night because I was a mess, man. I was unloading on everybody, anybody that was in earshot. So it is what it is, man. I'm more worried about, you're more level-headed than I am.
Yeah, so, as I go through this, I if you read in the comments of this, this is nothing where I sit there and go, oh my God, the sky is falling and everything. This is all predictable stuff. Derrick Henry, didn't sign him in the offseason. We didn't sign a defensive tackle in the offseason. We waited to the last moment. We got some guys there, but we got depth and replacement guys. And it showed. It really showed. And then people were playing out of position. Some things were schemes in the sense of the offense and stuff, but there was just a lot of stuff off. I could point out every single position and just point out a lot of mistakes that were made, whether it was veteran, whether it was rookies, whether it was second year, third years, whatever it was. To me, it was a whole team thing. There were times when everybody looked good, but at that time, somebody else was looking bad, and it was always seemed to be at the point of attack. So by the end of the game, I like what I saw. So I got to paint a little picture for you in the sense of, would you have rather your team kind of struggle through the whole game and put up those 25 or so points, or did you like the fact that your team put that up to the end, showing that you at least some life? And you can't say that the defense changed for Baltimore, because it didn't. As I watched it, they were still disguising stuff, bringing blitzes. So they were still full tilt till the end. So I definitely like that they got a rhythm going, got people involved, Tolbert, stuff like that didn't. But I saw a lot of disappointments across the board, and I can point to a certain wide receiver that I didn't like his attitude on the sideline, and I can point out to Parsons as well and Lawrence and stuff. You guys are arguing back and forth, but you guys are both at fault at some point, and it just, and I can understand the frustration, but you got to start off with CeeDee Lamb, so go ahead.
Well, again, home run, nice. My problem, Phil, is this, and before we get into any particular fault, there's a lot, okay? There's a lot. But to the haters out there, okay? And I even just saw Marcus live, and he's really saying how bad his team is. I don't know if he's playing it up for YouTube or...
probably.
We are very talented football team, people.
Yes.
Let me repeat that to the people in the cheap seats. We are a talented football team. We're the same team minus some backups and some rotational players. Okay. The difference is we are relying on a lot of young players, which is exciting to me. Okay. What's not exciting is when Micah Parsons does not hold the edge and he collapses inside. Now, I will have Micah's back, okay? But
D-Law did
Micah
it too.
Parsons, I saw him a few times.
D-Law did it
There
too,
was
very
one-
early. Yeah.
There was one play, Phil, okay? He's playing, I don't know. You tell me what edge, but when you're watching TV, it's the left side. So to me, that's the right edge. If you're talking about the right edge, he's like the ball is snapped and he's kind of going, and you got the running back to his outside. You got Lamar to the inside, okay? Micah does the right thing there because his actual responsibility is to stay with the running back. He has to contain. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Lamar shoots it inside, basically inside the right tackle, the B gap, I would say. Whose job is to fill that would be a DeMarvion Overshown. If you look at the picture, I posted it on Twitter. Overshown reacts when Parsons reacts to cover the running
outside.
back.
Yeah.
And again, now I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you that not right now. I'm here to tell you that hold on, Phil.
Well, the Parsons, when I saw that, there's another play where I saw Parsons was holding hit, and I saw Overshown actually reacting really well. So I think there was a combination there that just wasn't working. I mean, there was a lot of people, I just think out of assignment.
Sorry about that, Phil.
No, you're good. No, I was saying that I also saw a play where Parsons was was a little bit late to reacting, where Overshown was seeing the play with Lamar, so they were getting caught up all in that the options basically, not really staying disciplined, and that's where I think where they talk about where everybody's planning to play super hero ball and instead of staying disciplined and staying in your gaps, and we talk about this all the time. I think Dallas has always had this type of problem with some of their D linemen, and it's just kind of poking its ugly head. But let's be real, man. It's the lack of defensive tackles. We saw it the week before when I was talking about the Eagles being able to defense to be able to handle a little bit more of what the Saints were going to be able to do when we talked about the last episode. I thought at some point the Saints were going to break away, but that defensive tackles really helped in there. And as you saw in this game, following that, defensive tackles could have helped. This is where the game kind of got out of hand, is that you didn't have that guy that was anchoring the whole defense and letting everything happen around him.
Yeah.
So it starts from there.
Well, yeah, again, there's a lot. I mean, Mike is not perfect, okay? And I would say the one guy on the D-line who has every reason to be upset is DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence is doing his job, people.
Yeah,
He's mad at you want to talk about being Superman or playing hero ball. That's what number 11 is trying to do. Now, I'm not. I just had his back on that one particular play.
Let's be real. I saw D-Law as well. Again, I'm going to point this out. I saw D-Law collapse quite a bit into the inside, and allowing Derrick Henry and the guys to get to the outside. Yeah, right. And so I did see this a lot, but I saw him also adjust, and that's what I didn't see a lot of the other guys do.
I think what we got going on here is a multiple of things. The bottom line is they're a very talented team. Actually, Mozzie didn't play half bad yesterday. Mozzie wasn't a killer.
There were times, though. Sorry, there were times though that confused me with him, because his back would be towards the play, and instead of turning around, and he would just continue pushing the two guys because he was getting double teamed mostly all the whole game.
But when they're harping on.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. I think you're right there on the same track.
Yeah, they're harping on him to take the double team. They're not putting too much on his plate, and that's all they need Mozzie to do. Take the double team. If you got a double team, just keep forcing the double team. Obviously, you got to be able to walk and talk too, and see where the ball's at. But that's what they're doing to allow, or quote unquote, really good fast linebackers to float the ball. Stinks right now with these linebackers are not good. I can't speak to Eric Hendricks. I can't imagine he's horrible, but he's not doing great. It's all along the board.
Yeah, I agree.
They didn't hardly throw at Diggs yesterday. I'm just gonna hone in on the defense, since that's the elephant in the room. I mean, I do want to talk about CD, but the defense, it got gashed, but for the most part, it did a better job, believe it or not, than it did against New Orleans. They didn't give up those huge runs until the fourth quarter. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
I think that was a bigger running duo than the Saints had as well.
Yeah, I think that again, we're running into a thing where a lot of these guys overshown. He played the linebacker position like this. He's a rookie, basically, people, and we're expecting him. He flashes. It's good when everybody else is doing their job and be the athlete flying around and coming out of nowhere to help out. But when you have to be gap disciplines, that's where we're having an issue on defense. They didn't throw to Trayvon Diggs all game, his side, but the one time they did, he played horrible.
Yeah, he knew it. He knew
they
it
only
too.
threw at him twice, but Phil, at the end of the game, I mean, at the end of the game,
big one. That big one at the end
was like the end zone.
Yeah.
That could have been the end zone. Yeah. You got to play the first down like it's the end zone. You cannot give it up. If you give up a play over the top, so be it. You got to play the stick and in. And I was very disappointed.
So when I look at this game, I think I'm going to flash back to this game and call this the free front office game. Because to me it screamed all front office stuff. I'm gonna go on problems and give you why the front office is somewhat to blame for this. Okay, so defensive tackle, I can paint a picture. You obviously know this. Running backs, I can give it to you as well. You don't draft one. You don't go out there and sign a free agent and stuff. I still don't hate who you have back there, but at the same time, it's not helping Dak. It's not helping this offensive line. When you also look at Derrick Henry, that was a big one. He just gashed you. He could be on the other side helping this offense. That could have been a whole thing. When you look at CeeDee Lamb and the non-chemistry that him and Dak have, it needs to get going, and eventually it will. It took, last year, 5 weeks or so before that really got going?
Immature baby, if you ask me, Phil.
That's what we talked about, how he gives up in the middle of plays sometimes.
He's an immature person.
He is at times.
I'm sorry, man.
But
you can't do that.
But at the same time, when you're looking at these two, it's like there's nothing about them that says that they can't get back onto the same page. It's just the immaturity on the sideline.
Everybody forgets. I had doubt. FYI, don't get me wrong. I had them all backwards, but it doesn't really matter. That's what happens when you try and do a schedule prediction. I had Dallas 1-2 after 3 games.
Okay, yes, I was going to ask you that next. I was going to ask you that next well too.
Yeah, I had Dallas losing to Cleveland, beating New Orleans, losing to
and that's what
Baltimore.
I had, and I had them as well too. So to me, the picture is just being painted exactly the way that we're describing it's going to.
I talked about it, that there's no excuse. So anybody watching this, I'm not using it as an excuse because I believe there's plenty of time. We all know. Listen, I did my, Dallas wins the division. Yeah, who the hell knows? But at the end of the day, normally the team doesn't win the division back-to-back. Yeah. Hell of a win by the Eagles, as ugly as it was. They still got the W. That's all that matters. If you're an Eagle fan today and you lost, they were going for somebody's head. Trust me when I tell you. I didn't listen to the radio. I was so busy today. That's how close this is. It's not going to be over anytime soon. Now, unless Dallas just goes in the tank, and that's always possible. But they got too much talent for that.
Well, let me continue. Like when I talk about CeeDee Lamb, immaturity aside, I've talked about this for the past couple of years. I've seen him in the middle of play, look at the referee while the ball is still up in the air, like looking for the call. So there's that whole side, but so much more benefits to him. But why is he not here in the offseason? Because the front office is delaying signing our big name contracts. If you're going to sign them anyways, why are we at this point? And now you wasted months of time that they could have been getting on a roll to where this wouldn't have been a problem. So, I can go down the line when it comes to some of these other ones in the sense of the defense, a lot of reaction. Gilmore could have been another one. I saw Carson. I still like what I see in Carson, but I still see a lot that he gives up as well, too. So Gilmore making plays over in the Vikings, that could have been something. But knowing Jerry Jones, we don't have the money for that. We just can't afford that. We couldn't afford Derrick Henry. Even though he's trying to roll over all this money into the next following year.
What's up, everybody? I'm looking at everybody in the chat.
I apologize that we're not going. I want to try to put this into I want to push us into a certain time frame because I know you have the broadcast at 8 or so.
I'm not worried about that. I set it for 8:10, so I'm not concerned about that at all.
Yeah.
So we got
so
time.
again, when I look at this, I had by week 4 we're going to be 2-2. This is, again, as I go forward, I'm predicting this as well. I think that we will get back to even, and by week 6, 6 games in, we'll be even again. So, I mean, you just find the roller coaster.
I had us 3-3. I actually had us 3-3. So, again, who cares? At this point, we just got to win a game. Unfortunately, it has to be on the road, on prime time, and that's what it's going to have to be. But getting back to CeeDee Lamb, okay, Dak Prescott was horrendous to start the game. I'm sorry. I'm going to call it. I don't care if you're a Dak Prescott fan. I love Dak. Me and Phil were both happy that they signed him. But what comes with the $60 million tag is you got to get your team off to a good start sometimes, okay? You got to make those throws. Yet again, we're overthrowing deep. Listen, open in the NFL is what? 1.5 steps, 1 step? That's open. He's got to give his receiver a chance to catch the ball. And then, I don't know.
And some of that, he delays running when he has that chance. He really delays it sometimes, and then he's caught. By the time he's caught.
6 balls were thrown behind receivers. 6. I mean, we're talking, you're going across, and 3 of them were caught, or 4 of them were caught. But still, the idea is to throw it in front, unless you're throwing into a safety. I get it. But for CeeDee Lamb to lose his shit, okay, again, you drop, if we score when you fumble, CD, we take the lead. Just to let everybody know.
Yep.
We take a lead there if we score a touchdown. Okay, that maybe changes things a little bit. He knows what happened was CD knows, because they're struggling. He didn't have a full training. He didn't have any training camp. They struggled last year with a full training camp. Remember, everybody forgets it took until the bye week to where they had to go in a room and figure out that they need to do more in motion, which not doing nowhere near enough motion. You keep seeing CD just being double teamed on the outside. He hasn't been really in motion at all. It's just a lot of stuff going on, and it's not the end of the world. But everybody, that's life being a Cowboys fan, Phil, and a Cowboys player. It don't look good. Our run defense is absolutely atrocious. We are now the last one. We passed the Eagles. We are now 32 in the league against the run.
And the problem is that we're going to have days that we're going to be able to stop the run. But let's be real, man. This is always going to kind of be in the back. Being available there for an option for teams to be able to beat us, especially if they really have a good offensive line, a great running game. So any team can really knock us out by doing that until a good offseason where we can really try to address this. And there's nothing guaranteed, right? With this front office, there's nothing guaranteed.
Exactly. What's up, Jimbo? How are you, brother? We got Jimbo, Dirty Coyote, CZ, Mouse, Glimmerman, Curtis is in the house.
And that's where I got to say, and Glimmerman says this right here, and I'm going to point out this because I got to say this, and I'm going to put on this.
Arturo.
Because I think Lamb was still hurt, and it was obvious Lamb couldn't get open. Now, this is where the rest of the team needs to be able to do their job as well. I mean, it's not going to always – he was getting double pressure. I mean, Bryan just talked about how he was getting double teamed. That means something else is open somewhere. Somebody's there. That's why you saw great –
just this past week.
I will give you credit, Bryan, because one guy that has stepped up in this past 2 weeks that have looked really good on the offense that I was totally bashing on this offseason was Hunter Lemke. This is a guy that has definitely stepped up, and it looked great in the passing game, stepping up and getting catches when you need it, when other guys are not getting open. Let's be real. That pass that Dak threw across that he caught near the sideline, he needed to throw that because everybody else was kind of just half-assing the play, CeeDee Lamb included. So, yes, I do like his hustle. I do like his play, and going forward, it's definitely giving me motivation to want to play him more, right?
Well, Phil, this is where I'm at, okay? This team wants to be multiple. You want to have that. You want to have this specialty guy. At the end of the day, I don't need all of that BS. Okay, Hunter Lepke needs to be involved. Okay, he needs to be heavily involved. I like the fact that Zeke's taking a back seat. I like Zeke's role. And you need a guy like a screen pass. You need short yardage. For now, Zeke's the guy. I've never been a Rico Dowdle. And he's got a juice. He's got this. I was watching a PFF, and they said Dallas is better than average in opening up holes. Like they have this metric where we're getting less yards than are out there based on the holes provided. If that makes anybody sense.
No.
If that makes any sense, the offensive line is creating holes. I'm not saying they're gaping holes.
No.
Pause. I'm saying they're making holes, and we are coming up short. Pause again. In the yards that are left on the field running the ball. Well, that to me, Phil, that's. I'm not saying these guys are bad. I'm saying there's no rhythm. Just put a guy back there, okay? Nobody's saying he's got to be the guy for 25, 30 carry.
But yeah, exactly. Get him in there for a while.
Start him out there and get him a rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay? Leave Lepke in more packages. You saw Jake Ferguson, Phil, right? Did we not see Jake Ferguson? Again, that's what I was saying. Roquan Smith is not good in coverage. The problem is we were in a position to where nobody was making a play, and he was allowed to stay in the middle of the field and say, hey, here I am. You can't throw it. Like, you want to get Roquan on the move in coverage, and we did it some. And it's going to get better, people. We're a very talented football team. Yeah. We have some young pieces that need to develop on the fly.
I just think what's going to suck is, like, it's the timing about everything, okay? So when I see it, two bad games in a row, it wasn't hard to predict. I mean, you could see the talent that was coming in here. 2 bad games. Okay, Dallas historically has always come back and played amazingly. But now they're going to play amazingly, possibly against a Giants team that with the losing record. Or losing record? Yes. To winning record now? No, winning, 1-2 still. So, I mean...
they're 1-2.
So, I mean...
What's up, Philly D?
So, it's going to look bad either way. I mean, even if you play well, whatever team is going to come out, I feel like they would play well against this next upcoming opponent. It just happens to be against a team that's again, played great ball this past week. I don't want to discredit them. But at the same time, it is definitely a losing record team.
Yeah, and I hear you, Phil. And again, one thing I hate. That's why, like, when Drew he likes to do his blanket statements as well as a lot of people. Dallas defense is
that's what I'm saying.
Do this or it's that. It's no blanket statements, people. I'm not going to do a blanket statement for the Eagles. Okay, I said that was as ugly as that Eagle game was. They got to win. You tip your cap.
Well, I had them at 2-1 right now, and again, that doesn't. Yeah, the games are flip-flop kind of a little bit, but still, really good.
But you know what I mean? It's like, again, I don't like the blanket statement because I think that's stupid. I think that's just a person's fandom taken over, okay? Again, sorry, but this division's not going anywhere. If we don't watch it, meaning Eagles and Dallas, we're going to allow the Giants and Washington to hover. Now, Dallas may not be good this year. Dallas may not be able to get out of their own way. Me and Phil loved...
But we need the growing pains. We need the growing pains.
Yeah, exactly. That's what people don't understand, and this is what you don't expect is the guys like Micah Parsons. But I think Mike is out of position. I'm just tired of seeing the same thing, but they're kind of limited right now.
Okay.
Micah is not an edge rusher down in and down out. I love him in the eight.
Yeah, he can't be.
Actually playing linebacker.
I think you just nailed it right there. He's not an edge holding kind of guy. He's go and attack the ball. Go attack the ball thrower, the ball carrier.
Oh, is that me or you, bud?
I'm not sure. You've been kind of going in and out the whole time, so I was assuming it was your internet, but who's to say?
It's me. I have to restart my internet.
But anyways,
a
lot of things to point out in this game. Can you guys hear me at home? You guys good over there? I don't know. Brian, can you hear me? No, I guess Brian can't hear me right now. So anyways, let's say I'm waiting on somebody to give me the heads up. So the one positive thing that I see on this team and I love is the fact that we got a kicker, man. A kicker that kicking weird onside kicks and kicking.
Yeah, just to let you know, Phil, I can't hear you, so I don't know what's going on all of a sudden.
Kicking 65-yard field goal. Yeah, hold on, let's see.
I don't know if it's you or me. Probably me.
Yeah, I got everything here. Check 1 2. Everything. I can hear you, Primetime. So yeah, they got me. I'm not sure. But anyways, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. No, I guess no. Wrap it up. See, we can hear him, but apparently he can't hear us at all. Maybe that's his defense mechanism. I don't want. He's drowning out all the noise. But again, I apologize to you guys. I definitely like to bring the chat in more. I wanted to put a lot of stuff out there on tape, saying basically saying don't freak out just yet, man. And I put it on Twitter. This is still chapter 1 of this 2024-2025 NFL season. This is going to be a hell of a roller coaster. We don't know what team we have yet. They don't know what team they have yet. They feel the talent that's there. I need a wake-up call. They love the talent that's there, and I do too. And you can hear from guys like Trayvon Diggs and stuff. Can you hear me? No, I can't hear you. You're muted or something. Go ahead. Nope. I can't hear you. Okay. So yeah, I already lost my train of thought by that point. So anyways, guys, I mean, this is a team that has a lot of growing pains, and you're going to see it with whether it's with the coaching staff, with the offensive line. I mean, I do. You're going to see some mistakes. You saw Tyler Smith was making some mistakes. Yes, you saw Guyton as well. There's going to be growing pains with the chemistry that they have, but I do like that you can see better football being played by these guys. Mozzie Smith, I get a little bit critical with him. I saw him out of position a lot, but again, he's being told to take on double teams. I just don't like him being pushed out of the hole, whether he's being dragged out of the hole or anything. Pause. So that's where I want to see better defensive line play, because guess what, man, this is, everybody knows, anybody that follows football, that the game gets won by the trenches, whether it's defense, whether it's offense, and we really need this defensive line to start doing some stuff. We can't take 3-4 of the game constantly. Yeah. That's the thing. We already took ourselves out. I was hoping by the second quarter. Remember we talked about this before, how Dallas loves to get going by the second quarter. Halfway through the second quarter, all of a sudden there's the offense get going. So that's kind of what I thought was going to happen with that Ravens game, but it did not do that at all, man. And so that's where I kind of felt, okay, it's not happening. The fourth quarter still wasn't going on, and then all of a sudden they turned it on. They started getting going. The awesome onside kick. The defense was doing some stops. So it's like the ball, awesome football was being played by the end of the game. It's just unfortunately not coming up with the victory at the end. It kind of like, it's not as sweet as of a dessert, Go ahead and try to talk again, Brian. No, he's not going. Okay. Do you want to go ahead and cut it off? Pause. No. He's gonna write down what he feels like on his thing on the paper. Yeah, Glitterman says Dak was getting a lot of pressure, but he refuses to get out of the pocket, and that's what we're talking about with him and his mobility. It's like he sees the lane open up. He knows that he should go. I don't know whether he's trying to give the receiver another chance to get open or to develop a play, but by the time he steps up and starts to make that move, the defensive guy is already behind him, ready to tackle him. So he doesn't really get out of the pocket, and he tends to hold the ball. So this has always been kind of a harp on Prescott. But, yeah, you're right, man. He needs to be able to make that decision a lot quicker in his head. This is not one of those leagues that you can just decide, I'll do it later. Yeah, Glitterman, apparently his microphone system is all that complaining he was doing yesterday. Is like, I'm done. The microphone system, like, I'm done. So I think he might have to restart his system before he goes back on. So guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. That way he can go ahead and get his system going as well too. I wanted to get something out there to just talk about this game. We are going to be back here on Thursday at 7 o'clock, right before the game, to give you the pre. That way it gives us that Wednesday before to kind of take the time off and really get that feel for what the Cowboys are going to do. But I feel good about it. I talked about it like last week. I did not feel great about the matchup. I do feel good about this one. And we'll give you a breakdown as well. So, Game Time, anything you want to say to the folks before we get out of here? All right, guys. I appreciate you coming through, and trust me, man. Don't slam the book yet, or don't pause the movie and turn it off. This has just gotten started. This drama of the Cowboys will continue as the world turns. But don't hang your head down, man. We have a long season to go, and this is a great team that will start to look better at the end of the year. But man, you unfortunately got to go through these growing pains, and here we are. But one thing I appreciate you guys not forgetting to do is doing what? Not forgetting to ring that bell. You guys take care.
All right, hey. All right, good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.
Talking prime rib in bed. I'm using a blanket as a napkin. That's fancy. That's fancy.
Real fancy.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I think we handled that with dignity.
Free candy!
Joni loves Chachi.